Hi, I'm Kayla Duke. I'm uploading my career profile for Family 150, Section 3, online Intro to Marriage and Family Studies. I chose for my career profile a PSR worker, which is also known as a psychosocial rehabilitation worker. So, the example organization I found was a counseling center in Pocatello, Idaho. That it's called Gateway Counseling, and they hire PSR workers. They have an online website, and they also had an address, phone number, fax, and an email, so you could really get a hold of them. I didn't know anyone who worked there. I just found it online. The working environment for a PSR, the hours are very flexible because you're dealing mainly with your scheduling, basically. You're scheduling with clients. You're typically not in a clinical setting. Normally you meet with the clients in their home or in the community. You could be teaching a larger group of individuals. So the typical stressors, I should mention that this, as a PSR worker, you are working with people who have serious and persistent mental health issues. So it can be physically, mentally, and emotionally taxing and draining, just due to the volatile emotions and just trying to correct unhealthy coping practices and life skills that they may have developed over the years. PCR workers are also privy to the emotional damages of their clients, which means that can be pretty emotionally draining and taxing for the PCR worker. So typically they suggest you become involved in an activity outside of work that lets you release those emotions, whether it's like hunting or hiking or whatever, just something that lets you sort through those heavy emotions you're dealing with. So common job tasks of a PSR worker, you'd be meeting with clients that have serious and persistent mental health problems. Your goal in this is enabling them to remain deinstitutionalized. So these are people who, without coaching, could end up in an institution, whether for their own health or the health of those around them, or just a lack of ability to function in a community. So you'd also be performing mental health analyses and determining the risk that the clients are to themselves and others. So basically you're not only teaching them to function in society, but analyzing whether or not they are safe to remain in society, safe to themselves and others. PSR workers are also required to keep detailed notes cataloging the client's progress, which is typical of most counseling careers. And PSR workers also may be called upon for court cases if it comes to that. So the education requirements: to become a PSR worker, you need to have at least a bachelor's degree, and within 30 days of employment, you also have to become educationally prepared in the core competencies of psychiatric rehabilitation principles as defined by the USPRA, which is the United States Psychiatric Rehabilitation Association. So as for salaries, the starting salary for a PSR worker is about $25,000 a year, and an experienced salary, it doesn't. It's about $39,000 a year, so it's not that big of a gap, but big enough when you're earning that money. So as for miscellaneous career information, I pretty much told you all that I found out about it. I did try and look for a job outlook for it, but I couldn't find much. So, but since this is a service career where you're dealing with the mental health of others, it's probably a fairly decent job outlook, since people always need help. And that's about it for the PSR worker.